And Craig Bellamy is in his tracksuit in front of the tunnel right now, not involved at all today. Cardiff have Marshall in goal, Theophile, Catherine, Colker, Turner and Taylor at the back. Gunnarsson, Medell, Cowie, Whittingham and Match in midfield, with Peter Odenwingie up front. Chelsea have Cech in goal, Ivanovic, Terry, Louise, Bertrand at the back, Ramirez, Lampard, Hazard, Mata and Willian, who makes his first start for Chelsea in midfield, and Eto'o leads the line up front.
And alongside Mark this afternoon, Ian Walsh, the former Wales and Cardiff City striker. Ian, I guess two things to ask you very quickly. One, Craig Bellamy's omission, not even on the bench this afternoon, your reaction to that, and whether or not the Cardiff players will be affected with what's happened off the field this week at Cardiff City.
Well, to answer the first one, it's to be expected, really. Craig Bellamy has played his last two international matches in his career. He played a massive part in those two games, and with him having to look after his body as a sprightly 34-year-old, Simon, then it's no surprise to me that he's not involved today. They'll rest him and keep him for future games. The second, I wouldn't expect it to affect the players on the field. You know, everything that goes on off the field, in the player's opinion, and having been a past player, you tend not to get involved in and not affect you. And, you know, they'll just get on with the game in hand. It's a tough place to come, Stamford Bridge, against a fantastic team, some great players. And they'll need to be at their best today to get something from the match.
The impression I'm getting from many people behind the scenes at Cardiff is they're very pleased to be back to the business on the pitch today. It's been an international break that has brought up all sorts of strange stories from inside the newly promoted club, the decisions being made by owner Vincent Tan. Today's team sheet does say that manager Malky Mackay is in charge of selection. He's named at the bottom of the list of players. Rumours have been circulating that the owner has been trying to influence selection. Well, today Jordan Mudge and Don Cowie come into the team in place of Kim and Fraser Campbell. Both are named on the bench. Chelsea's side shows 3 changes from the victory at Norwich. Eto'o starts up front, Hazard replaces Oscar in midfield, and there's the first Premier League start for Willian, who appears to be settling in here at Chelsea now. And not only has Mourinho been doing his best to get the most out of the new players who have come to the club, like Willian, who scored last time out against Norwich, but the Chelsea manager has also seen improvement from established players who've been here for many years, such as captain John Terry, who's seen an upturn in form since his old boss has returned. And Mourinho has admitted that he always kept an eye on players like John Terry, even when he wasn't at the club.
I was in Italy, I was in Spain, always with an eye to Chelsea, always with an eye to especially to my ex-players. And I was questioning myself, what is happening, why he can't perform. So it was a question mark for me when I arrived. But since the beginning, I was feeling him in very good conditions. He's in very good conditions. So I think it's good for him, it's good for us. And as I was saying, and that, yes, I told, that he's recovering his self-esteem, he's recovering the feeling of being an important player for the team, which is a feeling that he lost in the last couple of years. And he's recovering that, and that's good for him, that's good for me.
Ball play forward through the midfield. Odenwingie climbing high, pushed in the back by David Luiz. There was no real advantage as it broke Cardiff's way in the midfield to Medell, but there were players around him. So referee Anthony Taylor has given the free kick Cardiff's way, just inside their own half.
Yeah, just a chance for Cardiff to get players forward. As we can see, Ben Turner's gone up for this free kick. Chelsea have parked about 10-15 yards outside the 18-yard box, but it seems like they're dropping all the time. And you can just see by the way that the game started, at least Cardiff come here prepared to sit deep and defend, soak up the pressure and rely on a few set pieces or counters.
Andrew Taylor taking as much time as he thinks he can get away with about this free kick, which he will now launch forward, left-footed, towards the edge of the penalty area, where Colker will climb high for it. He's nodded it back across the face of the penalty area, but it's easily cleared by Lampard. Back into the fray again with Ben Turner nodding it on, and Terry very calmly just gets the top of his head to it to guide it back for Petr Cech away to our right-hand side. And Bertrand to his left-hand side for Eden Hazard. Hazard goes back for Bertrand. Played forward from Bertrand down the left-hand side for Samuel Eto'o. And Eto'o now running towards the edge of the penalty area. Low left-footed ball in from here, and Matters missed his kick. And it'll be knocked away on the edge of the box out towards Ivanovic, who shoots and rivals a right-footed drive over the bar. But a glorious opportunity for Juan Mata.
The first opportunity of the game, should have been a goal. Excellent play from Eto'o down this left-hand side. Come back on his right foot, squared it across just by the penalty spot. And, well, Mata just miscued, didn't he? The ball went straight between his legs, and a little embarrassing there for me. That's got to go in the back of the net. Good play from Chelsea.
Oh, David Luiz with a mistake. Petr Cech comes out and it didn't get there, and Jordan Mudge has scored for Cardiff City. David Luiz with a terrible error. An underhit back pass towards Petr Cech, who came out slowly. Mudge nipped in between the pair of them. Cech was going to ground. He's just lifted it over him. And Jordan Mudge has given Cardiff City the lead at Stamford Bridge.
Wow, what an error from David Luiz, the centre-back. There wasn't enough pace on that ball to get back to Petr Cech. Petr Cech come virtually towards the edge of the 18-yard box. David Luiz just spun away as if the ball was going to go through. He knows all the rest of the players are looking at him. He's got his hands on his hips, but he knows he left Petr Cech with no chance of getting to that ball. Excellent finish from Jordan Mudge, though. Just dinked it over Cech as he came out towards the edge of the box. The first shot on target for Cardiff, 1-0.
Well, he scored the winner at Fulham. And now at Chelsea, he scored the goal that has given Cardiff the lead. What a massive fillip that will be for them. A terrible defensive error by David Luiz. Throw to Chelsea. The ball is with Ramirez. Ramirez back towards John Terry. And Terry will play down towards Bertrand on the left-hand side here for Chelsea, towards the edge of the penalty area where Samuel Eto'o makes the run. Eto'o on the edge of the box. He's got Kolka with him, who slides in, puts it out of play for a corner, the first of the game, won by Chelsea on their left-hand side. In comes the corner towards the penalty spot. It's headed away easily by Gunnarsson, and then flicked on by Hazard. It breaks off a Cardiff player on Nwingi, back to Willian, and Bertrand's got it now. It's the deepest of Chelsea's outfield players. He finds Mata, left-footed ball drilled in by Chelsea's number 10. Ivanovic won it in the air, and he goes out of play for a goal kick, which will be taken by David Marshall. Terry to David Luiz. Luiz brings the ball forward over halfway and then hits a right-footed 50-yard pass towards Mata, which Teofil is forced to head away and out of play for a corner to Chelsea on their left-hand side.
Well, you're right. It's like an old-fashioned 4-4-2, isn't it? You can just see that Mudge and Nwingi are up front, isolated. The rest are in 2 blocks of 4, making it difficult for Chelsea to get through.
In comes the corner from the left-hand side from Mata, and the header hits the outside of the post. Terry coming to meet it. It was a glancing header towards the right-hand side. Medel was standing on the post, and he was either guilty of misjudgment or really brave, because he stood there and watched it, and it kissed the post on its way past for a goal kick.
I think Medel was inside the far post. I think he's got his hand on the post. He knows that his hip's virtually against the post. As that ball comes towards him, there's a temptation, if it's on target, for you to use your hand. He just kind of let it run across his body and out of play. I think it was good judgment from him.
Gary Medel, who signed from Sevilla for a club record £11 million.
He's been quite quiet, hasn't he? Well, no reds.
No reds, no yellows so far, which is extraordinary. Consider that he was sent off 5 times last season, yet to have a yellow card. As Chelsea bring it forward with Ivanovic in towards the edge of the box, and Lampard tries to chip the ball towards the far post. Teofil chests it back to his goalkeeper. Well, this free kick for Cardiff will be taken by one of their goal scorers, the set-piece specialist Peter Whittingham, who scored at Hull. The angle favours a left-footed clip in towards the near post, and it's a brilliant save from Petr Cech. He just flicked it in towards the near post. Onwingi met it. He hadn't been picked up by the Chelsea back line. He turned the head and sent one towards the top left-hand corner, which Cech dealt with brilliantly to tip it round and deny Cardiff a second goal.
Was on its way in. Don't think there's any question about that, Jim. We've got a good view from where we are, the angle. And I have to say that, they've only attacked on a couple of occasions, Cardiff, because they've been containing in their own half. But on both occasions they've got a goal, and they've pulled up. They've forced Cech into a really good save.
Here comes Cardiff's first corner towards the near post. It'll be followed by their second. Eto'o is claiming that the ball had already curved back over the line. It was a misdirected corner towards the near post. Eto'o had got a touch on the byline, but it has gone out of play for a corner. Now Don Cowie's on corner duty, and he's taken an absolute eternity about the pair of them, even dropping the ball from the ball boy, which was thrown at him, and deliberately dropped it. In it comes. Petr Cech has dealt with it very well. He's come through a lot of traffic, colliding with John Terry, and now balls it out quickly, and the break could be on because the centre-halves are out of position, and Chelsea can bring it forward with Willian. Cardiff have regained their shape behind the ball just about. It's worked out towards the right-hand side of the box, flicked in dangerously, and it's Medel that has come back and heads it away for a Chelsea corner.
Counter-attacking at its best, Jim. Great play from Cech, rolled it out straight away to William. William on the right-hand side, crossed it. I think it was crossed by Mata, but was put out for a corner. 2 or 3 passes in the opponent's half.
5 players inside the penalty area. Luiz comes to meet it. It went over his head, And eventually it was Terry again that made it on the edge of the 6-yard box. He sent his header wide, but has hurt himself in the process. He's getting back to his feet now. Just a heavy fall, I think, from John Terry, and a collision for the former England captain in either penalty area in the space of a minute or so. He's okay, he's back on his feet and trotting back now. Ball thrown forward towards the right-hand side by Odin Wingy. And it's cleared by Cech, left-footed. Volleyed back by Medel, given away by him. Mata to Willian. Willian to his right-hand side is Ivanovic. Now he plays him in. He just waited for the serve to make his way forward to the edge of the penalty area. Right-footed, driven cross. He saw that Marshall was gambling on a ball driven in towards the edge of the 6-yard box and had come off his line. And he tried to squeeze it in between Marshall and the near post. The Scotsman able to come back and make the save.
Full credit to Cardiff, especially the back boys, Theophil, Colker, Ben Turner and Andrew Taylor. Nice and tight and compact, being shielded by the midfield, just sitting in front of them. And what they're doing is, like you should do when you play away from home, make it really difficult for the home team. The crowd have got a little bit quiet, inside the stadium, but they need some encouragement. Chelsea haven't really carved out any real openings, have they? So, I don't know. There's a lot of time wasting going on from the Cardiff boys in terms of, is it a free kick or throw-in?
That's a free kick.
Peter Whittingham just, dear. Come back to haunt them a little bit, I think.
Well, it'll be a free kick which will be taken by Peter Whittingham, presumably, at some stage. It's 2 yards in from the right-hand touchline, 7 yards inside the Chelsea half, and it's headed away by Lampard. It's header forward. Medel is on the end of it. Whittingham then will hoik it back into the fray. Louise again didn't deal with it particularly comfortably. Whittingham with a free kick for Cardiff into the fray, which is headed back by Jordan Much, and over the top again from Much inside the penalty area. And a poor header 7 yards from goal. Sees it go over the bar. I think it was Gunnarsson that met him. He was only about 8 or 9 yards out. Maybe mistimed his jump, and he was on his way down by the time the ball got there and sailed over the bar and out of play.
Well, you're right, it was Gunnarsson, and you're right, he jumped too early. He just waits just a second so he gets a powerful header on that towards goal, a free header. It's the second header we've seen inside the 18-yard box from Chelsea. Not good marking. And, Chelsea got a bit of a struggle on here. They're moving the ball quickly. They're going from side to side with a bit of purpose, but they just can't get past the back line, penetrate the back line.
The ball played forward, and it was picked up inside the penalty area by David Marshall. Now, the crowd have claimed that although his feet were in the penalty area, he has reached over the line to gather that. It was a long ball forward. Samuel Eto'o chased it, and Marshall, well, it was touch and go, to say the least. The linesman was quite well placed and said that he was in the penalty area when he picked it up, but he would have been in desperate trouble had the referee deemed that was a handball.
Well, my viewing of that from where we are was his hands were outside the box. It doesn't matter where his feet are, it's where you collect the ball. And I think he's got away with one there, Marshall.
Here's Eden Hazard inside the penalty area. Square for Samuel Eto'o. He's made a right mess of it, but Hazard can put it in. It is 1-1. An extraordinary goal. We've had an extraordinary goal at one end, and now an extraordinary goal at the other. Marshall had the ball in his hands.
Wow.
And he's put the ball down, waited for players to push forward upfield. He's oblivious to the fact that Eden Hazard was coming in behind him. He's just robbed him of possession, rolled it square for Eto'o, who had a tap in. Eto's made a right mess of putting the ball into the empty net. It's ended up going back for Hazard. He has scored, and it's 1-1 in the most bizarre circumstances.
The old pro trick, wait behind the goalkeeper, see if he drops the ball. Huge embarrassment for David Marshall. And Samuel Eto'o, what an opportunity to get yourself on the score sheet. And you're quite right, made a hash of it. Luckily it came back to Hazard and he just rifled it into the net. But I mean, Marshall's got his hands up in the air complaining, but he's only got himself to blame. But what Samuel Eto'o was doing by just he had the ball, he came back onto his left foot, he slipped and fell over, got deflected out to Hazard, bang, back of the net, 1-1.
Here's David Luiz to Willian on the right-hand side of the box. Plenty of Chelsea movement ahead of him, including Samuel Eto'o, who's brought it back towards Lampard. It would have fallen behind Lampard, but it's very well defended by Medel anyway. He's scooped it over his own bar and out of play for a corner.
Lots of movement, interchanging of positions with Chelsea. They've got width. The fullbacks are getting forward. The three behind the one are moving around and trying to create, and good move from there. Good defended by Cardiff as well.
In comes the corner, a left-footed in-swing, and just too high for Ivanovic. He's got so many Chelsea goals arriving late in that kind of position. Don Cowie then heads the ball out towards the corner flag and will chase after it himself and then hook it over his left shoulder out of play for a throw. The way that Cardiff are playing is allowing Chelsea to push one of the centre-halves forward all the time, and the other will just sit deep in the centre circle, but the other can come forward. It's David Luiz this time. Left-footed rifling effort goes over the bar.
I've got to say, though, under Jose, when in his first period, it kind of... He stopped the fullbacks from venturing too far forward, didn't he? Kind of got to the halfway line, and that was your stop point. Right now, he's got both fullbacks flying forward. John Terry staying in the centre circle. As you said, David Luiz helping the midfield by just being the pivot, if you like, and they've got lots of movement. It's a different way of he's playing now, and they're looking to forge their way, looking for that opening all the time. Eto's movement's good. It's very good, but unfortunately for Cardiff, Chelsea haven't really created the opportunity. Cardiff handed them the opportunity.
And Peter Whittingham will be able to mop up and lay it back for Taylor, who can clear his lines. The bushy hair of David Luiz is on the end of it and finds Mata. Then Chelsea call in possession, and Luiz comes across and his left arm raised towards Gunnarsson. He's fouled him. He then motions to Gunnarsson to get up. But it was a flailing arm from David Luiz. It was more than an unfair body check, and he's rightly received the game's first yellow card.
Well, Mata getting caught in possession. David Luiz having to take the yellow card for it. Came across, as you quite rightly said, had his arm up. It was a body check. And as you say, it's a tactical booking on the halfway line as opposed to letting somebody get a run on you. So not been a great first half for David Luiz, giving away the goal and also got himself in the referee's book.
And Samuel Eto'o will have it now. Good challenge comes in on him from Kolka, but Mata picks up the pieces and he works it towards the Chelsea left-hand side for Hazard. Hazard running towards the edge of the box. The angle opens up, but a right-footed low shot is a little bit tame in truth.
It was.
And it's easily saved by Marshall. It's Hazard. And he's got the ball towards the edge of the penalty area, and he finds Mata. He's brought down there. Sliding challenge coming in from Don Cowie, which is worthy of the yellow card. There was no malice in it, but the turn from Mata was just too good for the Scotsman, whose momentum, as he was beaten, just took him straight through Juan Mata, and it's a free kick to Chelsea.
I think you've got to give credit to Cardiff here that they're not making a big deal out of this. I think what Samuel Eto'o has done has been inside the rules, and I think Cardiff should be credited for not sort of making a song and dance about it. David Marshall will be a little bit embarrassed. For those of you who didn't hear the detail of the goal earlier on, goalkeeper has possession. He's coming out. Samuel Eto'o is in behind him. It's similar to that famous Gary Crosby goal, Nottingham Forest against Andy Dibble all those years ago, when Crosby headed the ball out of the goalkeeper's hands and subsequently that was deemed illegal. Here Marshall goes to bounce the ball. It's quite a dramatic bounce. He throws the ball in front of him, as we see many goalkeepers do. He's expecting it to bounce back up into his arms, but in that split second Samuel Eto'o nips in, wins the ball off the goalkeeper. He can't finish himself, but he sets up Eden Hazard, and it's a goal that's got Chelsea out of jail here, because Jordan Mutch had put Cardiff in front, and I think Cardiff were doing well while they were at 1-0 in front here. Chelsea now looking to take advantage. Now they've got it back to 1-1, but it's a very, very bizarre goal, Mark.
By the sounds of the commentary, Ian, two mistakes defensively from both sides, and it's all square.
Yeah, that's exactly right, really. But you've got to give more credit to Jordan Mutch, actually, for the Cardiff City goal, because he stayed really alive to the situation. You always feel with the likes of David Luiz, they'll give you an opportunity. If with that lack of concentration, David Luiz just let the ball go, thinking that Petr was further up his line. But all credit to Jordan Mutch. You know, he's nipped in there, he's lifted the ball over the advancing check. 1-0 Cardiff City. Yes, Chelsea have had a heck of a lot of possession, and they've prodded and they've probed. Cardiff have stayed strong defensively, but then a real schoolboy moment for David Marshall in the Cardiff goal. He's got the ball, he's not checked behind him, and he started bouncing it. As soon as it's released from his hands, Samuel Eto'o has nipped in, pinched the ball, and he set up eventually Eden Hazard to side-foot the ball into the empty net. So he'll be really disappointed. But to be fair to Cardiff, Simon, over that last 10 minutes of the half, when they were really up against it, they stood strong, didn't let Chelsea create too many openings, and at half-time it is 1-1.
No changes, and just wondering what instruction Chelsea have been given. Probably a little bit more directness, but got to create more goal scoring opportunities, because once they get that goal in front, Cardiff will have to change the way they play.
Here's Mata in possession now, worked out towards the left-hand side for Ryan Bertrand. Bertrand in towards Samuel Eto'o, whose goal-scoring record, and certainly at Barcelona, was extraordinary, but yet to find the net here for Chelsea and spurn a great opportunity in the first half. Williams got it now, back towards the edge of the box with a right-footed curling effort. Marshall made a comfortable save. His handling had to be good because Eden Hazard was following up. Free kick which Taylor will take, and he's got every player apart from Teofil ahead of him. Left-footed ball, flighted inside the area. Odemwingie comes to meet it. Ivanovic got there, and it's the first corner of the second half to Cardiff, which they will take over on the right-hand side, and Whittingham will go across to take what will be a left-footed in-swinger.
There's no need to rush though, is there? Because he'll take an eternity to get there. I think looking at Ivanovic, he was looking towards the assistant there for a little bit of help. Felt he got a little push in the back from Odemwingie. The assistant wasn't having any of it. And what a good opportunity now for Cardiff, who've piled, put numbers into that 6-yard box. Want some quality now.
Well, they showed against Manchester City they're very adept from set pieces in this kind of area. Whittingham's delivery in towards the near post had plenty of whip on it and might have caused problems in that near post area had it not been for Eto'o, who was able to head the ball away, and out of play for another Cardiff corner.
Once again you can hear the crowd moaning and groaning because they're just taking so long to get on with the set pieces.
In comes the corner from Whittingham. Oh, what a chance for Turner! And he's punched away by Cech. It breaks on the edge of the penalty area for Medell and goes out of play for a goal kick. The Chelsea players race after the referee. John Terry in the ear of referee Taylor, who clearly feels that something had happened untowards inside the box. But Ben Turner came to me. He was only about 3 yards from goal, and any kind of decent contact on that, and he scored.
I'm with you. I can't understand why he just didn't throw himself forward. He looked like a few inches away from it, you know. I don't know. Did John Terry feel he got body checked? I'm not too sure. But what an opportunity. What a corner as well. Great delivery.
Samuel Eto'o has it on the left-hand side. Eto'o, who has scored 109 league goals in 144 games for Barcelona. It's put in towards Willian on the edge of the 6-yard box. Whittingham takes a touch, which might have been ill-advised. Ramirez then tries to tackle him inside the 6-yard box. A goal kick has been given. The assistant on this near side with a decision that I don't think anybody else at that end of the ground thought was the right one, but it is a goal kick rather than a corner that's been given.
Looked a corner from where we are. The crowds are all booing.
Now Hazard will be able to break forward down the left-hand side after an intelligent header towards him from Ryan Bertrand. Hazard on the edge of the penalty area. Lovely turn. Took Teofil out of the picture for a moment. Willian will be able to pick it up. Bertrand in support for him. Rifles in a left-footed ball that has caused some distress for Cowie. It's cleaned him out. Ball played inside the penalty area. Left-footed volley from Mata goes wide. The acrobatic attempt from the Spaniard some way off. But that initial cross from Ryan Bertrand, he knocked Don Cowie off his feet, and I think he landed awkwardly, still not standing up yet.
I think he's winded him, Jem. I think he took the full force, didn't he, from about 2 yards away. Good attempt of a cross, looked like hit him in the rib cage. It levelled him, but then when the ball came back into the far post, Mata with the high tariff, the overhead kick, didn't pull it off. But you can hear once again the crowd booing.
Well, they get the yellow card for time wasting, and that has been in the post since Jordan Much gave them the lead on 10 minutes. Every time the ball goes out of play for a goal kick, which you would expect Marshall to take on the left-hand side of his 6-yard box, he'll pick it up and move out towards the right-hand side of his 6-yard box.
He's entitled to go from one side of the pitch to the other, but the pace he does it is at snail's pace, that's all. And I can understand what they're trying to do. They're playing away at home to Chelsea. They're playing away to Chelsea. It's very difficult, it is. They're trying to kill off a little bit of time, but now he's put himself under pressure, Marshall.
And here, Cardiff are going to make a change, and Medell will come off, and Kim, the South Korean international, is going to come on to replace him. It's the first substitution of the game.
Well, it might be tactical, might it? Because Medell, he hasn't done anything wrong. He's worked really hard behind the ball. As you know, Kim's a very similar player, will be the holding midfield player. And it just looks like a like for like. Doesn't look injured. Gets a little pat from Malky. But it could be a 14-man game here for both teams. You want to switch things around a little bit, freshen it up, get some legs in there. Although Kim's just gone straight up just behind Odemwingie in the middle of the park.
Well, they dropped Jordan Much into Medell's midfield position. Whittingham to Taylor. Play inside the Chelsea half at the moment. Much scoops it over the top. Good run from Gunnarsson. Terry went with him, and David Luiz is able to win the second ball very easily, because as Gunnarsson had made the run forward, no one went forward with him in support. So
correct,
it just made it easy for Chelsea to mop it up.
Absolutely. If you support your striker there, John Terry has to either head that ball out or head it away to the side of the, as he was, he just popped it down the 18-yard box to Luiz. I'm thinking, well, where's the support? Where's Kim now? Get supporting the striker.
So Oscar coming on for Mata. Chelsea's first change 13 minutes into the second half. Much plays it forward here down the inside left channel for Peter Odemwingie, who's got Whittingham in support on the left-hand touchline. Just stopped, didn't play the ball to Whittingham immediately. Now it is worked back to him. Odemwingie gets the return pass, and again it goes to Whittingham. This is patient stuff here from Cardiff, who eventually play the ball inside the area off Ivanovic, and now to play for a corner, which will be taken on the near side. Cardiff have had all 3 corners in this second half. Cardiff took the corner quickly. Miracles will never cease, but it didn't break their way inside the penalty area, and Whittingham will be able to mop it up. Kim with a shot on the edge of the penalty area, which goes wide. And at the moment, this last 5 minutes since Kim has come on, it's Cardiff playing the better football, and they are beginning to create more half chances.
Well, where have they been containing the first half? They've taken the game forward a little bit more in the second half, and as you quite rightly said, they've had the first corners of the half. They're the ones who've had all the shots. Chelsea haven't. It's frustrating.
Back for Cowie to Much to Kim. Kim has done well to ride 2 challenges, and then tries to thread it through between Terry and Luiz. Chased after it himself, but Cech was out quickly to make the save.
Well, it's for a little bit of impetus in terms of when he gets the ball, a bit more dynamic. He can go past players. He's using his pace well. It's like Malky's virtually said, do you know what? Let's ask them some questions instead of them asking us questions all the time and sitting back deep. And Kim's come on that and done that. I thought Odemwingie would have probably provided the threat.
The ball is with Cardiff and bringing it forward 2 against 2 for a moment. Odemwingie had it, turned into trouble, found Jordan Much, whose right-footed effort wasn't nearly as good as the one at Fulham a couple of weeks ago. Right-footed effort going over the bar, no save for Petr Cech to make. And Fernando Torres is going to come on here to replace Ryan Bertrand. An interesting swap for Chelsea. Here are Cardiff inside the penalty area. Pull back for Gunnarsson, whose right-footed shot is headed away by Ivanovic. Cowie a little bit too selfless there. Might have pulled the trigger himself when the ball broached him on the right-hand side of the penalty area. Back it comes for Teofil. His ball is too deep for Kim, but he will still be able to keep it in play, albeit in a much wider position on the left-hand side. Pulled back towards Taylor. Cardiff giving it a really good go here now. Just Chelsea move to 3 at the back. Whittingham's got it. Whittingham tackled by Ramirez, but he can't win the ball cleanly. Into the feet of Odemwingie. It'll break for Eden Hazard, who's now playing at left wing back for Chelsea, and they'll be able to clear. Are you surprised that they've made such a wholesale change to go 3 at the back?
Huge change. And then you've got your 4, your 2, your 3 striker, then your 3 talent, and then the 2 forwards just beyond them. Fernando Torres and Samuel Eto'o, and that crossfield switch from left to right really exposed Chelsea with having no left back, and it's a system that's good if you're in possession,
which they are at the moment as Ramirez works it forward. Fernando Torres looked favourite to get there initially, then kind of gave up on it and pointed back towards Ramirez, because Ramirez had been fouled. And I think what Chelsea were trying to do is force the referee's hand that there was no advantage and they should pull it back for a free kick. He didn't. Chelsea end up with a corner. Willian takes it. Right-footed out, swinging towards the edge of the 6-yard box, which Kolke heads over his own bar. It's out for another corner.
Yeah, everyone's back inside the 6-yard box. All the Cardiff players, everyone needs to mark tight now. Chelsea fans are getting behind their team. They need this win at home to pull level with Liverpool.
In comes the corner from that left-hand side. In towards Ivanovic. Little flick from him. Kolke heads it back to him. Ivanovic tries to chip it inside the box. Peels for handball. Hit the back of Kolke rather than his arm. It's cleared by Cardiff. Kolke tries to push them all out. It's cleared towards the edge of the penalty. A lovely reverse ball inside the penalty area. Brilliant goal from Samuel Eto'o. 2-1 to Chelsea. It's a majestic finish from the veteran marksman. His first in English football. Rifle past David Marshall in the Cardiff City goal. It broke Eto'o's way, and he might not have been quite so sharp in front of goal since coming to England so far. But if you've got pedigree, you've got pedigree. That is a brilliant goal. It's 2-1 to Chelsea.
Absolutely spot on. That quality doesn't leave you, and you have to say that he's needed a little bit of time he's come from Russia to pick up the pace of the Premier League, to get his training, to get his fitness. He's made some good runs in the first half. He's provided a couple of good crosses. On this occasion, he just showed that that pedigree inside the 18-yard box, the sharpness, Jim, just to go past the player, come inside. It opened up for him, fired it low, in past Marshall, and I think he'll be off and running now. I think he's signalling to the fans he's here, he's got his first goal. Brave move from Jose Mourinho to play 3 at the back and play 2 strikers with the 3 talent just behind the 2. Very good. The change paid off for them.
Azpilicueta is going to come on here for Chelsea, which I would imagine will see them revert back to a back 4 now that they have the lead. And Brighty, you noticed as I was looking down at my notes, Fraser Campbell has come on for Cardiff City. John Terry knocks the ball away. Gunnarsson's got it in the midfield. You have to say the goal has almost come against the run of play, such as Cardiff's excellent play in the last 10 minutes. Neto, at the moment, the match winner is the man that comes off, and Azpilicueta comes on to replace him. He moves over to left back. Remember, they took Bertrand off to bring Torres on. So it's now Azpilicueta at left back, Ivanovic at right back, still Luis and Terry in the middle. Willian, Ramirez, Lampard, Hazard, and then he's got Hazard on the left-hand side, and he's got Oscar in behind Fernando Torres up front.
I'm not too sure what's happening here. Mourinho's going mad. Mourinho's going mad on the touchline. He's having a go at the referee, Anthony Taylor. Taylor's come across to speak to Mourinho. Take it up, Jim.
Well, the 4th official came and stood between. Is he sent him off? Has he sent him to the stands? He has. Jose Mourinho departs. He sprinted out, and I have to confess, I don't know what the flashpoint of that incident was, but Mourinho came out well outside his technical area, and he stood with the chalk and the white lines sporting undoubtedly a very impressive pair of shoes, bellowing at Anthony Taylor. Anthony Taylor said, "You can't speak to me like that," and hoiked him off, sent it to the stands. So Jose Mourinho watches the rest from a loftier vantage point than he's used to. And now a little flashpoint in this near side between Much and Louise. Much, you'll remember, Louise, you'll remember, already been booked. And now Chelsea with the opportunity on the counter-attack. They lead 2-1. It could be 3 in a moment. It's 3 against 2. Only Colker and Turner are back. It's Fernando Torres, whose shot is blocked by Colker, who can then, after the ball came back to him off Whittingham, clear at the second attempt. And it's broken kindly for Cardiff upfield. Kim's got it now. The game increasingly stretched. Whittingham has it on the left-hand side of midfield. Back it comes for Turner. Turner to Taylor. Taylor back for Whittingham again. Faced up by Ivanovic. A low, poor ball inside the penalty area, which is easily saved.
They're still in this, Cardiff. They're still in this, you know. They could get a chance. Campbell's on now and Kim's pushed up there. And what they need to do is really have a go at pressing. Because as the clock ticks down, 72 minutes already, Chelsea will love to draw them on and then counter. So they need to have a go at pressing.
Right-footed ball inside the penalty area here. Falls for Whittingham. Whittingham on the edge of the D onto his less favoured right foot. Decent shot blocked by Ivanovic. Out towards Taylor. Ball in towards Kim across the face of goal. Check. Got a hand to it. Tipped it away from the on-rushing Cardiff player at the far post, which was Don Cowie. And out of play for a corner.
Kim's been impressive since he came on, Jim. That great little turn on inside the 18-yard box, and he fired it across the goal. Great save from Cech. It was at a good height. It was about shoulder height. He just pushed it away. And as I said before, the threat's still there. I still think Cardiff, if they apply a bit more pressure, could get something.
Corner to be taken on that far side. In from Whittingham. Left-footed again with plenty of whip into the side netting. And out of play for a goal kick. Here's Oscar towards the edge of the penalty area. 3-1 off the underside of the bar and in. A brilliant finish from Oscar. No wonder Jose Mourinho says that he's been his player of the season so far. Minimal backlift from the edge of the box, and he just passed it in off the underside of the bar past Marshall. Point surely safe now. Chelsea 3, Cardiff 1.
Well, there was talk of him, why he was the number 10 and Mata wasn't. All the fans weren't happy. Mata wasn't playing. Well, there's your answer. I think that's his 4th goal of the season. And he took it ever so well. Picked up the ball just outside the D, came in onto his right foot. It opened up for him and he rocketed it just underside the bar to the back of the net. And that puts the game to bed now. 3-1 for Chelsea. And he's been impressive this season, there's no doubt about it.
The corner comes in from Whittingham, which is headed away by Lampard. Right-footed volley intended by Kim. Just didn't touch it at all. And now the break is on. Oscar to his right-hand side for Hazard, who's got options either side of him. Running towards the edge of the box. He fights Willian. Good save by Marshall. Willian made it a little bit easier for him than he might have done. Torres on the edge of the box, back towards Willian, who is onside. Oscar waits at the far post. He's in 5 yards of space inside the penalty area. Willian stops, tries to invite the challenge from Cowie, which isn't forthcoming. Willian decides he better get on with it, finds Lampard. Lampard now towards the edge of the box. Oscar again urged to shoot. Out to his left-hand side for Azpilicueta. Just about his first touch of the ball since coming on. Now to Hazard. Hazard with a little flick round the corner. Taylor can come back and defend it for Cardiff, and will chip it forward out towards that right-hand side for a Chelsea throw.
I don't know if you noticed there. Great counter-attack once again from Chelsea. When they had that shot there was 5 blue shirts in the penalty. I mean, this is obviously something Mourinho has instilled in the team. If you go commit yourself, go with pace, and support the strikers, give the striker options, and he had left and right options there. And I have to say it was good defending from Cardiff to manage to get back and just there's going to be a substitution here.
Yeah, Rudy Gestede is coming on for Cardiff, their final change. Chelsea in possession in the midfield with Oscar, who's lost it to Jordan Much. Lampard to Hazard, who very quickly spins round the back of Teofil and has got the ball back from Lampard. Bit of space with which to work. Runs at Kolka inside the penalty area on the left-hand side. Works the angle through Marshall. It's 4-1. He's not covered himself in glory today, David Marshall, and Eden Hazard has been the beneficiary twice. He should really have stopped that. It was a slightly mishit shot into a central position in the goal, but it's gone straight through the goalkeeper, and Chelsea lead by 4-1.
Pretty harsh on Cardiff, I'd have to say, but excellent play from Frank Lampard on the far side of the pitch, exchanging passes there with Hazard. Hazard coming inside the 18-yard box, step over, onto the right foot, shot low under David Marshall. You'd have to say, it was poor goalkeeping to me, but that scoreline is a little bit harsh for everything they've given today, Cardiff. But this is the quality. Look what comes off the bench to change the game. And now, 4-1, home and dry.
Here come Cardiff again with Fraser Campbell. Right-footed effort deflects away off Terry for a Cardiff corner. They've had 5 corners to 2 in this second half. 4-1 does not tell the story of this game one iota, but when it comes down to it, quality. Chelsea, as you say, brought quality off the bench and have been clinical in front of goal.
Absolutely. And, you think Torres could have had one as well when he's joined the attack.
And they've got it again with Jordan Much to the left-hand side for Whittingham. Whittingham's left-footed ball inside the penalty area. Azpilicueta can head it away from Rudy Gestede. Falls for Teofil on the edge of the box. Teofil onto his left foot, and he has dragged his shot wide, albeit via a deflection. In comes the corner, and again plenty of whip on it towards the far post, where Turner is claiming that there was a handball, but a goal kick has been given by referee Taylor. Here's Whittingham on the left-hand side. It's the ball back through the midfield for Jordan Much. Much in towards the feet of Fraser Campbell, who beats David Luiz. Campbell low across the edge of the 6-yard box. Terry is there, just calm things down and knocks it away. Out of play for a throw, which will be taken on the left-hand side by Taylor for Cardiff. Back it comes for Peter Whittingham. To Taylor again. Taylor's ball inside the box. John Terry was just waiting. He was oblivious to Rudy Gestede coming in, and the Gabonese player very nearly got his head to it to make it 4-2. Full-time whistle goes here. A Chelsea performance which, in keeping really with how they played under Mourinho, had plenty of positive aspects, but also had its moments as well where the opposition would have felt that they had chances.
Well, before today, David Marshall, the Cardiff City goalkeeper, had made more saves than any other keeper in the Premier League this season. Here at Stamford Bridge, it was definitely an afternoon to forget. It's all kicking off down here in the tunnel. Jose Mourinho has refused to do any interviews with BBC Match of the Day. We're going to see if he comes out to speak to the general press in the press conference. So he's got issues as well after being sent from the dugouts, and he went in and sat among Chelsea fans in the stand. But this game finishing 4-1-2 for Hazard. Eto'o scored his first for Chelsea. Oscar got the other one. It was both Hazard goals that will haunt Marshall, and perhaps with a really big incident, the goalkeeper might not have been at fault at all. The talking point is Chelsea's controversial equaliser after Jordan Much had put the visitors in front. Samuel Eto'o steals up behind goalkeeper Marshall and pokes the ball away as the goalkeeper tries to bounce the ball. Eto'o then sets up Hazard and he scores. Now the laws say a goalkeeper is still in possession of the ball if he bounces it, and he cannot be dispossessed by an opponent, but, and this could be the key phrase, possession is given up if while throwing the ball in the air it's allowed to strike the ground. So does the goalkeeper bounce it straight forward like a basketball player, or does he throw it out maybe a few yards in front of him to then hope to gather it? And is that why the referee thought that he'd relinquish possession? I think it's been very, very harsh on the goalkeeper. I've only seen the replay once, but undoubtedly this is the big talking point, especially as Cardiff were 1-0 up at the time, and as it is they've gone on to lose 4-1. Mourinho, as I said, was sent to the stand. We think this is for repeatedly leaving his technical area, and as he was sent away, his argument was that Malky Mackay was also outside the technical area a lot. Here at Stamford Bridge, one of the smallest technical areas in the Premier League, but no shortage of incidents and 5 goals in this game as well. Chelsea win 4-1.
Cup run, the cup final.
For the lads to come out and show the character they had today, they've just been up against individual quality that you can't do anything about, and unfortunately 2 real schoolboy errors by David Marshall in the Cardiff goal. So that in a way it's sad in itself, but Malky will get something from this game on a footballing sense, and I'm sorry to say that's what we've got to concentrate on.
And I think many would agree with you. Thank you very much, Ian. 2 men who will be talking plenty of football on Radio Wales this evening with Rob Phillips come 5:30, Nathan Blake and David Giles, 2 former Wales internationals in our studios in Cardiff, and watched plenty of the action today. Nathan, I know you watched Cardiff City today, and there
has know-how in the middle of the...
Justified for the 5 changes he made to that side today. Top scorer Chris Zabrowski put the home side ahead after 23 minutes, reacting quickly to tap home after Connor Washington's shot was blocked. York pressed for an equaliser, but in first half stoppage time, Lee Minshall's right foot curler doubled the league. Washington grazed the post early in the second half, and that was all the home side could muster in a disappointing second half performance. Until, that is, substitute Danny Crowe was left unmarked at the far post to score from Robbie Wilmot's driven free kick a minute from time. Not the most convincing of displays, but it was enough to beat a struggling York side as County earned their 5th win of the season. Newport County 3, York City 0.
And the upshot of that is that Newport County are up to 10th in League 2. They're only a point off the playoffs. Good result for Wrexham in the league below League 2, that's the Conference, as Wrexham rise to 14th after a 2-0 win against Woking, a game watched at the racecourse by Dylan Griffiths.
Wrexham rode their luck at times, but Andy Morrell will be delighted. 3 games now unbeaten, and considering that there was another partnership in the heart of the defence, a clean sheet will be an added bonus. Dean Keats scored his 2nd goal in as many games midway through the first half, but you always sensed that they needed the 2nd goal. Woking were more adventurous after the break. Andy Coughlin on goal on more than one occasion kept Wrexham ahead, and Mike Sester saw his header cannon off the crossbar. Wrexham weathered the storm, and in the final minute Joe Clark sealed the points with a fine finish. A big win then for the Dragons, who can now look forward to the FA Cup against Hyde here next Saturday. It finished Wrexham 2, Woking 0.
And we'll bring you some Wrexham reaction as soon as we can, but let's speak to Jason Perry, who saw the game at the racecourse today, and all very comfortable, Jason, and just what Wrexham needed.
Oh, yeah, desperately needed. I said at the start of the game that this for me was like a watershed game where they can just kick on and maybe get a run of results together in November and then get up the league rather than look below them and fight to keep out of the bottom 4. And they had to grind out a result. Woking did have chances, they did have opportunities, they hit the crossbar, but I just felt that there's 2 centre-halves that were thrown together. They were outstanding. Close and Tomlinson, they won every header, second balls, threw their bodies on the line, and when Woking did get past them, and Andy Coughlin was again superb in goal, a couple of saves. But you just felt, and it summed it up for me, when they got that 2nd goal, every single Wrexham player ran into the corner, got together and just tapped each other on the back and said, look, you know, we're together in this. We believe that we can get the results in order to get up the league, and they'll draw from this, Simon. It's not just about the football game, It's about now the atmosphere in and around the training area, in the changing room, and you feel that the Wrexham players will take a lot from this 3 points.
And he scored the late equaliser at Barnet, and he scored again today. Dean Keats again showing us his importance to Wrexham.
Every time I watch Wrexham, the first 2 people I look at on the team sheet is Dean Keats and JRS, because they're the 2 players you need in this situation. 18th going into the game, playing against Woking, who were in the bottom 4, or are in the bottom 4, looking to get themselves out. You need warriors, you need leaders, and they've done that. I said at times the passing wasn't great. You're not going to talk about good phases of passing from anybody or individual skills. You were looking at characters, and those 2 led from the front, and the centre-halves drew from that. And as a manager on the side, you look and you say, come on, roll your sleeves up, boys, let's win the battle. And then once we get confidence within ourselves, then you can go and pass the ball around. And they answered, and they stood up for their manager, and the fans went away happy. And as I kept saying, it's all about results when Wrexham are in the position they are. And the scoreboard said Wrexham 2, Woking 0. Job done.
Thank you very much, Jason Perry. Latest from the Welsh Premier at the Deeside Stadium. Frill are 3-1 up at Connors Quay. Earlier, the New Saints closed the gap on the leaders Airbus, who won at Bangor last night. TNS winning 3-0 at home to Bottomside Avon Lido. Prestatyn 0, Port Talbot 0. That's how it finished at Bastion Gardens. And Bala losing 4-2 at home to Carmarthen Town. Let's switch our attention to rugby now and the British and Irish Cup. An emotional day for Dale McIntosh, his final afternoon for Pontypridd. He is going to go and join the coaching staff at the Blues. Good time to join them after that win against Toulon, in fact, today. But yes, it was an emotional occasion for Dale McIntosh. Pontypridd winning as well, 29-22 against London Welsh at Sardis Road. And after the game, McIntosh caught up with Rick O'Shea.
Absolutely chuffed for the boys. They gave it all. You know, they had to, because London Welsh are a very strong side. You know, they're running away with the championship at the moment, and they're very well coached with ex-Pontypridd boy Justin Burnell. But you know, just the feeling before the game and the changing room and the atmosphere. You know, we knew how hard we'd have to dig, and but we were always willing to do that, and that was probably why we got the result.
So I'm going to park that result out, because obviously the big talking point that's been here is that after 25 years, or the thick end thereof, you're going to move on. You're not cutting ties, clearly, because this place means too much to you.
No, I never cut ties, mate. You know, these guys have done too much for me. There's no doubt on that. You know, I'm ever grateful, and you know, it's a debt I will never be able to repay. But the fact of the matter is, you know, I've got to do what's right, and the time is right, and I feel going into regional rugby with the Blues is the way forward for me as a coach, and I just think that the squad that they've got down there is quite special. I understand they had a very good win today against Toulon, and that just says it all for me. And people probably surprised down there, but I'm not. I know it was just a matter of making sure we apply ourselves and we win the game, because we've got an outstanding young side mixed with some very, very experienced players who lead by example, both on and off the pitch. You know, they say the right things. You know, they don't mess about, and that's what that environment needed.
Just before we go, just try and sum up what this place has meant to you.
You know, this has been my family. This has been my Welsh family. I got my immediate family with my wife and my 3 kids, whom I love with all my heart. But this has been my second family, and you know, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough not to see them, you know, in a competitive way, but at the same time, I'll be down here every time I'm not with the Blues, and I'll just be watching and you know, watching like everyone else, just so impressed at what this place provides.
The one and only chief of Pontypridd Rugby. I usually get told off for using nicknames on air, but I think you can get away with that with Dale McIntosh. A special afternoon for him. Elsewhere in the British and Irish Cup, Cross Keys winning at Ealing 24-15. Not such a good result for Llanelli in Pool 3. They lost 29-17 at Bedford. An extraordinary story in Pool 5 at Aberavon. Bristol were winning that game 24-20, but a hole appeared in the middle of the pitch at Talbot Athletic, and the game had to be abandoned. No holes, I don't think, appearing at Bath, where the Dragons were playing in the Amling Cup this afternoon. Plenty of holes in the press box, though, I think, Gareth Rousseau, when you were saying in commentary. I hope you didn't get too soaked. But in the end, defeat for Bath, and I know you've been speaking with Lynn Jones and members of the coaching team, haven't you?
They weren't particularly frustrated, although they did highlight the fact that the Dragons were in there for the majority of the match. It was 10-all at half-time. A spectacular try from Toby Faletau. Faletau, Richie Rees and Tuvey were outstanding. Tuvey went off with a knock to the head, and Lynn Jones was highlighting the fact that he should be considered for international recognition this autumn, as well as a few others with the Dragons. But the truth of the matter was they were struggling up front for 60 minutes. Paul James comes on at loose head, and then things fell apart, and they were beaten, as is always or so often the case in rugby, in the front row, and Bath eventually deserved their victory.
Dragons reaction then to come here on BBC Radio Wales. Cardiff City reaction to come as well. We're still to hear from Malky Mackay after that defeat in Chelsea. We'll hear from the Wrexham and Newport camps as well, and more from Swansea City after their win against Sunderland. But the experts and the pundits have had their say. It is now time for you to have your say. It is time to call Rob Phillips on 03700 100 110.
Thanks very much, Simon. We've had the action, the reaction. Now it's your turn. Give me a call.
The Radio Wales Sport phone-in. Call Rob Phillips, 03700 100 110. BBC Radio Wales.
City fans, can you remember a more disastrous couple of weeks? Self-inflicted chaos, a kick in the teeth at Chelsea.
The referee's played on, there's no flag, it's one-on-one for Hazard. Squares it, surely for Eto'o, who's round the goalkeeper, and it is an equalising goal for Eden Hazard. Mourinho punches the air. What on earth was that? A calamity of errors at the back. It is Hazard who might shoot. He sends it through for Samuel Eto'o. Eto'o for Chelsea! Chelsea take the lead! Samuel Eto'o scores his first goal for the Blues! Gunnarson's given it away. Here's Oscar, edge of the penalty area to try and finish off Cardiff, and he surely has now, in off the crossbar. Hazard does the step overs, cuts back and shoots across goal, and it is a fourth. David Marshall puts his head in his hands. He knows he should have done better with that, and Chelsea put a little bit of gloss on the scoreline. It's cruel on Malky Mackay, it's cruel on Cardiff City. Chelsea 4, Cardiff 1.
It's a cruel world. 03700 100 110. Text 81012. What more trouble lies ahead for the men in red? In contrast, Swansea City finally broke their Premier League home duck. The Dutchman floats it to the... What's an even? It's gone in!
We're not quite sure.
Corner, Rangel comes hearing in, and it ended up in the net. The Guzman chip, 2-0! Oh, this game has been turned on its head, and Jonathan de Guzman with a delightful goal. Boney steps up, 3 or 4 yard run up. He drives it now, and well past Westwood. Guzman comes in. Oh, and it's a fourth for Swansea City. And again, they've been done on the set piece. De Guzman the provider, and Chico Flores peels away in celebration. Swans fans, you've gone above the Bluebirds. Have you finally kick-started your season? Call me 03700 100 110. Text 81012. Tweet at BBC Radio Wales. I want to hear from Newport County and Wrexham fans. And of course, the big Welsh football question remains. The World Cup is over, but should Chris Coleman stay? We know the FAW top brass are listening. Give them your message loud and clear. Coleman or not? And if not, who? 03700 100 110. Text 81012. Tweet at BBC Radio Wales. It's time your voice was heard.
The Radio Wales Sport phone-in. Call Rob Phillips, 03700 100 110. Calls cost no more than an 01 or 02 landline. Text 81012. Texts are charged at a standard network rate. For more, click bbc.co.uk/Radio Wales.
Yes, welcome to Call Rob Phillips. 03700 100 110 is the number you want to be dialing now to get your point across. You can text 81012. You can tweet at BBC Radio Wales. I'm delighted to say 2 good pundits tonight, 2 lively pundits. Well, they always were on the pitch when they could be bothered. David Giles and Nathan Blake, former Welsh internationals both. Good afternoon, guys.
Good afternoon, Robert.
Rob. Nathan Blake, 2 of your former clubs played today, Chelsea and Cardiff, 4-1, but I want to hear from Cardiff fans. 03700 100 110, the Chelsea equaliser. Talk me through it, Nathan, and should it have stood?
Unsportsmanlike conduct is what I was booked for many a time when I've done that to goalkeepers.
So what happened? Tell me what happened. You've seen it.
Well, what happens is Marshall's got the ball in his hand. Etu stands to the side of him. As Marshall bounces the ball, Etu reacts, gets a toe end on it just before it gets back into Marshall's hand. Hazard picks up the ball, cuts inside, passes it back to Etu. Etu gets tackled and Hazard puts in the net. Should the goal have stood? For me, no. Usually it's a free kick or even a yellow card. Like I said, in the past, when I've done it myself, I think only one occasion out of probably about 100 did I ever get the goal. So it's not unheard of, but it's very, very rare.
03700 100 110. What's your view on Cardiff fans? Never mind the goals. What about the chaos at the Cardiff City Stadium? David Giles, have you come across a more bizarre way of a team starting okay in the league and just shooting themselves in both feet?
Well, it is, Rob. It's such a shame, you know, that it's a really decent start by Cardiff, a team that's got back into the Premier League. It's their first time in the Premier League for 50 years. The manager and the coaching staff are doing a smashing job. The players are listening and taking on board everything the manager is saying. And then you get a chairman that comes out and gets rid of a very, very important part of Malky Mackay's coaching staff. And like anything else, he's really annoyed about that, you know, because he's asking the question, well, you know, I'm happy with him, everything's going well, why have you done it? And if so, give us a reason why. If the reasons are, well, you've spent too much money and we should be in a better position than what we are, come out and say it. You know, people get sacked in football, Rob, players get released, get left out of the team. We all know that's a part of life. For Vincent Tang not to say anything and then to insult Malky Mackay by bringing in a 23-year-old nobody, and I mean that, he's a nobody, he's got no track record. Ian Moody had a track record to work alongside now. I find it absolutely disgraceful behaviour for upsetting the apple cart at a club where everything was going well, and there's no reason for it.
03700 100 110. I want to hear from Swansea City fans too about their first Premier League home win. And my word, they didn't have sweat for nearly an hour, but then they blitzed Sunderland. What chance of the Black Cats staying up? Maybe they've got one of the relegation places already. 03700 100 110. Text 81012, where all eyes are on Stamford Bridge. Here's Cardiff City boss Malky Mackay.
Chelsea equaliser, talk us through it, because so many questions have been raised by it.
Yeah, I mean, at the time, it happened so quickly I didn't see it, but I've been in to see the referee for clarification of what actually him and the linesman saw. Our goalkeeper bounced the ball because he saw the player standing there. He bounced the ball. The referee is saying that at the time he heard from his linesman that the goalkeeper dropped the ball. So I asked for clarification of the rule, and they said if the goalkeeper had bounced the ball, it was a foul. Well, I've looked at it again, and he obviously bounces the ball because he knows that it was standing there. So that's one obviously that's been a huge mistake.
Because during the game, when that incident happened, you didn't seem to react at all. In fact, none of your players reacted at all. So I think most people thought, well they've just taken it on the chin.
I think most people were just walking up the pitch at that point. I think that's really what happened. But as I said, I've looked for clarification. The goalkeeper, or goalie, knew that it was standing there. He bounces it. But the clarification on the ruling is from the referee, from Anthony there right now, is that if he bounces it, it should have been a foul. If he drops the ball, then it's open play. Well, quite clearly, once you guys look at that again, you'll see that he bounces the ball. And I specifically asked for clarification on that there just now. So it's one that they've got wrong between them, and it's cost us.
I was going to say, how much did that change the game then?
Well, it means that they got in one each at half time as opposed to 1-0, because we had tactically, I thought defended very well and limited them to a few chances. They're a very good team. We limited them to a few chances, and it meant they went in level as opposed to getting in one down, which is a huge difference at this level.
Jose Mourinho got sent off, or sent to the stands. He claims he got so irate because of Cardiff's time-wasting tactics. What do you say to that?
I don't have any comment on why he got sent off, or you'll have to ask him about that. There was 4 minutes at the end of the game. I've played in games this year where there's been 6 and 7. So 4 minutes, considering the amount of subs and the amount of goals, I think you'll find that the referee's actually just about played 30 seconds for time wasting today.
In terms of the positives, I know that's an easy and a bit of a cliche in a sense, but what do you take? Because 4-1, I think most people neutralised, certainly it wasn't necessarily a fair reflection of the score.
Well, if we're 2-1 down, I'd rather lose by 4 than just by 2. So we absolutely pressed them, and I thought at 1 each. I thought we had some real good stuff playing. Jack made a fantastic save from Peter Odemwingi's header at 1-0. Kim Bo-kyung's made a fantastic strike in the second half as well, and we had some good chances. They didn't pepper our goal, which is something that pleased me. And as I said, I thought I'm very proud of my players the way they played today. 4-1, I don't think is a true reflection, but as I said, I'll not apologise for coming here and be beaten 2-1 or 4-1. You know, we had to get back into it and try and press and get back into it. And you know, as I say, I think today the breaks went against us, but that's life, and I'm not moaning about that. It's something we get on. What I am moaning about is obviously the first goal now.
How much are you learning, just as a final point, about yourself, given what's gone on at Cardiff for the last few weeks, and now what's happened in this game here?
Not a lot. Just the fact that it's part of the job. It's something that I'm calm about. It's things that come along with the job. But I'm very proud of the staff that I've got here and the group of players I've got here, and we're competing well at Premier League level, which is something that pleases me.
You're determined then to carry on. What you've started, you feel, is a long way still to go?
Well, the job is 3/4 done. The job we took on 2.5 years ago is 3/4 done, and it's something I've got a lot of pride in my group of people that work for me at this club and work with me, and you can see that in the team out there today.
That's the thoughts of Cardiff City manager Malky Mackay after his side's 4-1 defeat. Very unhappy about that first goal. You'll see that on Match of the Day tonight. But just give me a call if you're there. 03700 100 110. You can text 81012. And what about what you heard there at the end, David Giles? He's proud of his staff. He's very defensive, isn't he, Malky Mackay, about those around him?
Oh, he is, Rob, you know, and that's it. He picks the people he wants to be around him, because Malky Mackay, at the end of the buck stops with him. He's the manager, but he wants people around him will also close ranks and protect him as well. And that's why he thinks so much of his staff. And they are, Rob. If you look at it, you know, this is his 3rd season. His first year, we all know what happened. The last manager left. He had the tail end of a depleted squad, had to bring in 11 players, and they got to the playoff that year, and also a cup final at Wembley. The following year, they've won the league. You know, it's an amazing achievement what he's done, and now we're in the Premier Division. Started off for a club that's come up, you know, decently. You know, it's a good start. And the chairman has gone and driven this wedge between the manager and his staff, and I just think there's no reason for it. It's totally out of order. Listen, I could buy a greyhound, Rob, but I wouldn't be able to make it run any faster. Vincent Tang has bought a football club. He doesn't know how to run it on the pitch. He can do things off the pitch. Let the manager and the staff do it on the field.
Nathan Blake, it's Vincent Tan's club. We've had this argument before. He's put all the money in. He's not the chairman, of course. Mehmet Darman's the chairman. But what do you reckon on what Jarlo just said then?
Well, I can't disagree with anything he said. Yes, it's Vincent Tan's club, but I would take issue with that. Really, I would say it's been the fans' club. It's always been the fans' club. Every club is the fans' club at the end of the day, because, you know, if you find yourself ever in a situation where